Now, before I move on to my last word, the word sacrament, I wanted to say one other thing about the context of Scripture, which is the liturgy. One of the things that really helped me wrap my mind around this was when I realized that actually the liturgy is older than the Bible. So the earliest date that I have seen for the Gospel of Mark is 49 AD. And it's reasonable to think that the letters of Paul were written down maybe late 30s. Well, we know for a fact that the earliest Jesus followers were worshiping liturgically in many of the same basic ways that the church today, liturgical churches like Anglicanism, Rome, Eastern Orthodoxy, we know that the earliest church in the fourth decade, in the 30s, was worshiping in ways that are in profound continuity with those churches. How do we know that? We know that because of the Didache. We know that because the Didache, which gives us a picture of the worship of the early church, is dated at about 100, the year 100, and we know because of the way that liturgy works and how it's inherently conservative, we know that if they were worshiping that way in the year 100, then they were definitely worshiping that way in the mid to late 30s. So you see, the earliest Christians were worshiping according to a certain pattern, according to a certain form. So for example, the word was preached and then the bread was broken. They were doing stuff like that before the New Testament was written down. Now that doesn't prove anything in an airtight way, but what it does suggest is that actually the liturgical worship of the church predates much or all of the New Testament canon. So it must be possible to worship God in a way that doesn't require us to get our instructions from the Bible. The earliest Christians didn't have a set of instructions which told them exactly how to worship, and neither do we. How do they worship? They worship the way that their fathers and mothers in the faith did. And it goes back to time immemorial, and that's what we continue to do today. So you see, the liturgy is not something that reforms the scriptures or that helps us to